Good afternoon and welcome to our webcast on using indicators to trade key reports, the latest in a series of live events produced by Trader Planet in collaboration with well-known industry speakers. Today is Thursday, July 1st. Thanks for spending some time with us this afternoon. This is Darrell, your host for today's session, featuring Darrell Jobman, a senior analyst for TraderPlanet.com. Today's webcast takes place at a specific date and time, and therefore any opinions given by our presenter may change without notice at any time. Trading involves substantial risk of loss and therefore may not be suitable for all investors, and past performance is not indicative of future results. We are recording this webcast and it will be posted on Trader Planet, so you will be able to review the material at a later time. You will also find previously recorded webcasts among our other free member education resources within our site at www.TraderPlanet.com. As one of our more revered presenters, Darrell Jobman trades his own personal account and has been involved in the financial markets for more than 40 years. A decorated Vietnam War veteran, he was a newspaper farm editor and editor of several agricultural publications before becoming an editor of Futures magazine for more than 15 years. He has written and edited more than a dozen books and courses on trading. While his passion is helping others succeed by teaching the do's and don'ts of trading, his editorial contributions to Trader Planet has really allowed him to take these objectives to a whole new level. We're delighted to have him with us today. Let's give a warm welcome to our friend, Darrell Jobman.
Thank you very much. So the first thing I want to do today is to do an audio check to make sure you can hear my voice, and I have to say, try to part this come through. So notice on the left side of your screen, there's a little man, has his hand right menu icon there beside him. If you can hear me on, I agree, and that will give me a little check mark that it's out there and I can proceed. Give me a little check mark. Okay, there we have at least one, and so it means audio is fine, and I can move ahead with the topic at hand today. First of all, we also do need to talk about a couple of other housekeeping items. The first is that the data that we are using for our by CRB. CRB is a company that has been around for years and years, and we use them with the vantage point of the political process today. Secondly, if you have any questions, there's a little chat box there, and if you would like to enter those, write to them at the end of the presentation, not try to answer during the presentation, but cover them at the end. And then last, when we do get to you can help you see the detail on the chart a little bit more, because we're talking about a couple of precise points on the charts. Today's topic that we're going to talk about is using the indicators to trade key reports. I have very interesting key reports, one on the cultural side, one on the financial side, with the idea of indicators and how they work and how you put them together and what the potential reports might say and how they might work. Surprise, of course, and so doesn't always come together exactly as we'll work our way through that nevertheless, as you'll see in a moment. Well, key reports, what are they? Generally, these are some terrorist attack or a war, or you have some other major unknown that you possibly predict. We don't know how, for example, a volcano in the Gulf, those kinds of things are not what I'm calling key reports, but what I'm talking about in the nature of key reports are those that point in time in history when they have and a known time when they're going to be released. Of these, now some of these are more important now than they used to be. Some, but we have generally everybody paid a lot of attention to the Fed interest rate decisions and their meetings and the policy statements and how they viewed the economy. Maybe not quite as important anymore because pretty much it's humdrum. In the last, we're just going to leave the rates unchanged. That's pretty much about all the Fed has said recently. When everybody, speculated, will they raise the rates? Will they look at half point? Those are important key reports, types of reports that we are talking about that are potential market-moving types of events. We have then also U.S. employment numbers. That's one report like that coming up tomorrow on 2010. So we'll discuss that a little bit more. Then you have company earnings. If you're into stocks, find a schedule of when they are to be released, and you can then kind of make a decision, based upon do you want to be in through that report or not. That we'll also be talking about. Then we have crop production. About the 10th of the month or so during the summer season, basically from all of the crop production reports. Those are very significant for agriculture, for a whole range of commodities in that area, and we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail as our example. And then, of course, you have other types of announcements and what would qualify as keywords, like, for example, OPEC. When OPEC meets, they announce their quotas and so forth. Again, at times now as they were in the past, but these types of reports are key because there's some price reaction one way or the other. You can see our little diagram there. You get all these numbers. You get everything kind of go into the funnel, and out will come some kind of a number, and it will be some kind of a number that the market is very likely to react to in one way, shape, or other. The example I'm going to use, first of all, that kind of applies to a lot of different markets, but the example I'm going to use is one that was reported just yesterday. We had the planted acreage for crops, spring planted states, and it produced a few surprises. At the same time, the stocks report as of the 1st of June coming together have the potential in the market, as I said, and you have to be prepared for them. The ones that we're looking at, we're going to look at a couple of key numbers here, and the first one here is the estimate, USDA estimate that was released on June 30th, and they said the planted acreage would be 8 acres. We'll talk about that a little bit. They also said in their other estimate that we would have a grain stocks were only 4.3